Matt right here.
Oh, cool.
Hey, guys.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi, you're all right. Hi, Tom. Hi, Robert. Hi, Gary.
Hi, Matthew. Nice to meet you, man.
Yeah, nice to meet you, bud.
Yeah.
So, how are we all doing? Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody's doing good.
We haven't spoken to each other in a while, so it's nice to have you join us and everything. That's cool. It's good.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're all doing okay then?
I think so.
I hope so.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. I mean, this is awesome. I mean, I haven't talked to Gary or Rob. I mean, just on Facebook, but Gary's usually never on really. So
that's true.
But I mean, to talk about the movie is, you know, I mean, it's amazing. I mean, and we're still friends from after 37 years. I think that's even more cool than being in the movie itself.
Yeah, I think the film has kind of followed us around for all these years, which is really, really cool, but interesting. You know?
Yeah, definitely.
How did you get involved then, Dom?
I think it's the best type of, I mean, I kept making mistakes because I kept laughing. And it took all night to film that scene. All night. I mean, I was probably driving you guys crazy because they were like, oh, veer off, Don, veer off. I'm like, I'm 13 years old. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. It was hysterical, dude. And just the special effects of how they did it was...
Yeah, I don't remember it being all night because of you, honestly. I think
it wasn't.
It was all night because of Lloyd.
Well, yeah. There you go. And Michael Hers, yeah.
I mean, you know, he wasn't getting what he wanted from his, basically from the technical people, from, you know, because the car, when we're doing our dialogue in the car, we're not really driving in the car. We're just sitting in it.
Right.
And the people all around it making it look like it's moving. Yeah. And they're running like lights over the roof.
Yeah, they're shaking the car.
Lights are going by, and we're in there, and we're pretending that we're driving. So we're kind of bouncing in our seats. And they're bouncing the car. And I remember, you know, the four actors, the two girls and us two.
Yep.
We were walking back from a take one time, and then behind us was a whole bunch of tech people, and just in front of us was Lloyd and Michael. They were discussing, and all of a sudden, Lloyd just loses it, and he turns around and he goes, "Shut up! Shut up!" and the four of us, the actors, we all look at each other like, "Huh?" You know, and he goes, "Not you! You! Everybody else!"
He was the best, though, man.
We're going, or how the movement was, or you know, he wanted us to keep talking because we basically improvised that scene.
We did, yeah.
You know, all the lines we came up with most of them ourselves.
Wow, I didn't even know that. I thought that was all scripted.
Nah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, it was basically scripted, and as Robert said, we improv'd a lot as well. Remember, that was my first day, or actually night shoot, ever working on a feature film, and I was really nervous. And for me, it was really easy to connect all my nerves into the psychotic craziness of Bozo. So I just put it all into Bozo, and it fit perfectly. And it was a great, you know, opening for me to be working on the film.
Oh man, I was nervous. I didn't even, believe me, when I was on set, I didn't even know what was going on. I mean, at that point, I didn't know. Like, I've been in other movies since, but I mean, and I made my own movie about my alcoholism, and I am making another one as soon as this pandemic's over. But what's it called? I didn't know Jack. I was so nervous, man. They're telling me to do stuff like even at the beginning of my scene when Wanda was walking down the steps. She kept handing me the thing. I kept laughing. She must have walked up and down the steps about 1 million times. And then it just started getting late and got to the point where, you know, I had to get serious. I had to get serious, and I finally did it. But yeah, and then actually taking off, veering off from you guys when you're driving, you know, riding alongside you. It was a lot of fun. I mean, I remember everything, the smell of all the blood and the cow brains and, I mean, in the middle of the summer, laying on the ground all night. Oh my God. It was
Kara syrup.
So how was Lloyd as a director then?
Yeah. What was that?
How was Lloyd as a director?
Lloyd was really, really good at taking a nickel and turning it into a dollar. In other words, he can get a lot of value out of each dollar that he spent. And he was also really good at keeping things moving. You know, he had to stay on or below budget. He had to do a certain amount of shots each day. And he was very efficient. He was very intense, as Robert just alluded to before. Yeah. But he got done what he needed to get done.
He was very fierce especially to his techs. He treated the actors really, really well. Good. He didn't feed us very well, but he treated.
Nothing. I kept busting Wanda's chops when I was there. My mother and father were getting mad at me. I was like, before like my scene and they were doing whatever, I'm like, "Can you go get me a cup of coffee over there or something?" And they're just like, "There's nothing here. There's no coffee." It was nothing.
Ramen noodles. There was a lot of ramen noodles.
That's right. Yeah. I remember there was a scene we were filming in Jersey City, in New Jersey, near the water, and Lloyd was directing it, and this huge, loud boat was coming down the river, making a lot of noise, and it ruined the shot. And right in the middle of it, Lloyd said to his assistant, Stuart, get rid of that boat! And everybody was shocked. And then Lloyd starts cracked up, and then everybody laughed, and it was really funny. He had perfect timing. You know, it's like it ruined his shot, but he kept everything light. That was really cool. I just had a quick question for Dom. How did you find out? How did you get involved with it originally? What were you, 10, 12? How old were you?
I think I was like 13.
Okay. How did you find out about it?
Well, what happened was it was, I guess, during the weekend because like all my family was home and we're in the kitchen having breakfast or whatever, just going through the paper. And this is when I used to live in Belleville, New Jersey, near Newark. And going through the paper and everything, and my mother's going through the paper, and she found it in a small ad in the Star Ledger for modeling. So she called up and she set me up with an audition. And I think a couple days later, whatever, I went and I read for them or something, and they were like, "Oh, well, you know, if anything shows up, we'll call you." Which I think like a month later or something like that, I forget, but they actually called up and said that they have a spot, and they were mentioning Trauma and they mentioned Lloyd and all this, and they were like, okay, you know. I had to go to Trauma, meet Lloyd, meet Mitch Cohen, which was the Toxic Avenger, right? And meet. I don't know if I met you guys. I can't remember. At that point, I think I only met you on set, and And other than that, I mean, I met a couple of different people that were there. And yeah, it was amazing, man. And I mean, I'll tell you right now, I didn't know it was going to be this big, or it was going.
I don't think any of us did.
No, we thought it was going to be just like a crap movie, and you know, I thought it was going to be like a big practical joke. I mean, I didn't think nothing. I was young, I was a little kid, and you know, I was still in school. And, you know, I didn't know like anything about acting. I didn't know what the hell I was doing, but I did it. And I mean, at that age and not having any experience and just getting thrown into it like that. And then 30 something years later, you find out that it's still and it's still, and the head crushing scene is the most talked about scene throughout the whole movie until today. People still talk about it.
That's right.
Yeah.
And they cut it out in the movies.
The movie has
see it in Montclair, New Jersey, and the night it came out. And I was all psyched because that was the biggest part I wanted to see is my head getting crushed. And they cut that out. They cut it right after you guys hit me, and then it went to the next scene. I was so broken. I was like, you got to be kidding me, bro.
Is there any reason why it was cut out? Was it because it was too gruesome?
Right. They had it. I guess the MPAA didn't want it in there, and they took it out, and it was bullshit because that was the hardest part. You can ask Rob and Gary. That was the hardest part to actually do. And
what was it? It was a balloon. It was a balloon, wasn't it?
A what?
Was it a balloon filled balloon? Wasn't it?
I think it was a cantaloupe.
Yeah.
Some kind of
I
melon.
think it was a cantaloupe.
Yeah, and it was the best part. Also, it was the best part around. But I mean, to actually sit there and understand what they're talking about with somebody that never had acting experience ever, to do it and try to figure it out what they want you to. I fell asleep when I was laying there. They had to wake me up the next morning after we got done filming because I couldn't move, or they would have to do the whole scene again because if you move, oh well, he's alive. So it was nuts. It took like another 5 hours to take off all the makeup. Oh my god, bro! Oh my god!
Well, the corpse is like the girls jump out and they take the Polaroids.
Right.
Oh yeah. That's right. Yeah, that's right. That was
controversial too. That
it was.
Yeah,
it really captures the moment.
Yeah,
right. And I could hear them talking too.
1983.
1983, yes.
Yeah. And I heard everything they were saying, and they were laughing, and I'm thinking to myself, what's going on? I can't move. I want to see what's going on, and I can hear people talking, and I'm like, I want to see this so bad. But I mean, to work with these guys was an honor. I mean, it was great, unbelievable.
So was it a good experience for you then, Gary?
Absolutely. Oh yeah. I had just gotten out of acting school, theater school, and 2 months later I'm on the set of Toxic Avenger, which is like blowing my mind. It was a great experience. I wouldn't say it was fun, but it was definitely really exciting. It wasn't fun because it was very stressful for me. Bozo's such an intense, stressful character, but it was a great experience.
Yeah, so it was quite difficult.
No, I wouldn't say it was difficult. It just wasn't light and fun. Newcomb High, for me personally, was light and fun. Yeah. Robert might have a different feeling about that based on his character. I don't know. But for me...
it was all fun. It was all fun.
Yeah. It was all fun.
Newcomb High, for me, was more lighter, much easier fun. It was more of an ensemble piece for me. But I think I was just really nervous at the beginning of Toxic, and the character was so intense. And I love doing it. I don't regret it at all. But I just wasn't like a fun thing, at least at first. Later on, it became fun as I got more comfortable with it.
Right. Marissa Tomei was in it. I mean,
supposedly.
Yeah.
In the basement when she was walking out with a towel.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Why could I be in that part, man? Yeah. I mean,
Gary and Robert, how was Mark Sorgel to work with then?
We had a few scenes with Mark. Mark was fine. He was. He was a sweet kid. We didn't really have any issues with any of the talent. Everybody got along great with each other.
Definitely.
It was kind of like boot camp. I mean, we were all eating the same shitty food. Nobody got treated better than anyone else.
Yeah.
So, except I think the girls got paid more. But other than that,
they did.
Of course. I only got $75, and at that time I thought I was a millionaire. I'm like, and they let me keep the bike and the clothes on my back. But I mean, but you know what? It wasn't even about that. I mean, look where we are, and
when
thanks
they audition. Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm just gonna say thanks to Lloyd. I've learned over the years and been in different movies, and just watching how they do it while you're on set in independent cinema is that you can you're getting older, you're picking up, all right, how to direct, how to where to stand, where to put this, and how to set up the cameras and the lighting. Is the sound okay? Is this guy, and you just figure it out. It's like, all right, if this guy can do it with just a very low budget type of movie that I was in, I could do it. So I made a movie for Running Away from the Unknown. It didn't come out as I anticipated, unfortunately, but hey, you know, I did it. It's only a half hour. It's on YouTube.
Yeah.
But and it was about my alcoholism. So it was more of like a documentary, a reality documentary.
Make sure you share that on the group, Tom.
Oh, I will. Yeah, I'll put it in there, and now I'm making another one about like money laundering, like the mob. I'm trying to make it as great as Goodfellas and I'm taking my time. I got Artie Pasquale in it from The Sopranos. He's going to be in it, and a lot of other people. And I mean, I've learned how to do a lot of stuff from just watching people. And then the hardest part is getting the logistics done to get there. And now that the pandemic hit us, that screwed everything up. And, you know, I can't even go on set because what are you going to do? Make a movie with wearing masks? I mean, you know, it doesn't even make sense. But what were you going to say?
A lot of people I've spoken to have said it's quite difficult at the moment with everything that's going on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. It definitely is.
There's actually a couple of films that are shooting right now, but what they did was they all quarantined together.
Yeah.
You know, the production company paid for, you know, a resort for them to all be together at.
Well, that makes sense. Yeah.
Wow. That's a good idea.
So for 2 weeks, you know, nothing. And then, you know, daily tests, and now they're shooting. But they all, the whole cast and crew, catering, everything, you know, everybody that's involved, everybody that enters the set, they all quarantined. They're
one unit. That makes sense. Yeah.
And they're actually doing it. I think it's in New Zealand, which is a safe country.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They defeated the whole thing. So that I think there's 2 movies shooting there now. So
that's awesome, man.
Nice.
So Robert and Gary, how was Class of Newcomb High then?
Newcomb High originally was going to be a totally different film called Atomic High School, and it was about a family of it's totally different, a family of cannibals. And I was the teenage son, and my teenage sister and I would go to school, and we would bring home dates, and we would have them for dinner, literally. And then I wonder why. And Richard Haynes, who did a great job of editing Toxic, wrote it and directed it. However, shortly toward before filming started, Lloyd and Michael got more involved, put more money into it, and changed the whole thing around, which became Newcomb High. And I think Robert probably knows this. I think Richard became like an assistant director on it or something, I think.
They let him direct a couple of scenes, and then which actually turned out pretty well.
Yeah.
The scene where the monster emerges out of that barrel.
Right.
And I had that one girl that you never see again.
Oh yes.
Because she was in a car accident.
Denise, yes.
Denise, yeah, and didn't come back. You know, because she almost died. I visited her in the hospital. I mean, she got messed up. But yeah, that scene where the monster emerges, Richard actually directed that scene. I had no idea it was called Atomic High. I had no idea you were supposed to be, you know, about the family and all that. All I knew was the script that I got, you know.
Sure.
The leader of the Cretans.
But I mean, I wonder why they changed it to Newcomb High. It makes sense, doesn't it? It's better story,
And we were selling atomic weed.
That's right.
I mean, that movie was even lower budget than Toxic.
Right.
And a tighter schedule and worse food.
Oh man, that's funny, bro.
And no pay.
Did you have any funny stories, Robert?
At the same time, it felt like a lot less pressure in a weird way. It was we were sort of relaxed doing it. There wasn't, you know, when we got to.
I think for me, it was the second trauma film I was doing. I don't know if, you know, just made it a little. But you're right. For me, it just felt more relaxed. Yes.
Yeah, and and we knocked it out, and we had a lot of fun, and
yeah. Do you remember the Alka-Seltzer scene?
Yeah, frothing. But that was Toxic Avenger.
No, that was Nukem High. The Toxic Avenger was when we beat up the old lady in the car, and you said Toyota.
Yeah. Oh man.
The frothing was
they blend together after a while. I'm telling you.
The Alka-Seltzer was because he drank from the water fountain.
Oh my God.
Robert and I beat up 2 old ladies, 1 old lady in each film. Something I'm proud of. It was really cool. That was a great scene. He put Alka-Seltzer in his mouth. It was foaming at his mouth. They went up to this lady. Lady, you got to help me. My friend's having an epileptic seizure. I need something soft to put in his mouth. Oh, your purse. You could save a life. And then, it was really cool.
Fucking purse. Whatever he said.
And then Spike, Robert's character, punches the lady in the stomach or something.
Oh my God, that part was funny and Toxic. I beat that old lady like a dog.
Yes,
and she's just hitting her with the cane and everything. And that poor lady, man. That was so great.
I was singing the theme song from the Toyota commercial.
That's right.
Because it was a Toyota. You had a Toyota.
Oh man, that was great, man. That must have taken a while to film because of just the way it was put together.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy, but I mean, I think
it was a lot of good experience for you in Toxic Avenger.
What's that?
Was it a good experience working on Toxic Avenger?
For me, it was. That's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Robert?
Yeah.
And yourself, Tom?
I had fun. Wanda, that we were dating, so I went home with my work.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. That's awesome.
It was cool, so for me it was 24/7. I ended up marrying that woman. We had a daughter together. So
God bless you, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Great, yeah. What the way things
have
happen.
Any funny stories from Toxic Avenger?
Sorry?
Do you have any funny stories from on set?
I remember one where Robert and I were doing interior shots in the car that we would eventually die in. In other words, it was leading up to the big action car scene where the Toxic Avenger kills both of us. We spent a lot of time in the car doing reaction shots to what we were supposedly looking at. And there were long periods of time where Robert and I, and sometimes with Mitch Cohen, who played the Toxic Avenger, just in the car, we were mic'd, but we were alone in the car, just laughing, joking, having a good time. And I remember there was one day that Robert and I were there for a long time, just doing just that, just talking and chatting and talking about things maybe we didn't want anybody else to hear. And all of a sudden, we heard out of a speaker in the car, "Hey guys, everybody on the set is hearing everything you're saying." And I totally forgot. I forgot that we were mic'd. I mean, maybe you remember, but I didn't. And we just laughed. It was really embarrassing. We laughed,
Yeah,
that was one fun.
Awesome, bro. That's awesome. I remember they incorporated me in that scene. You're talking about the scene at the end where they blow the car up and they go off the cliff.
Yes.
Right. They incorporated they said what, and Toxic said, "What about the kid on the bike? How's it feel to hit a kid on the bike? It feels good." They actually brought me back into the movie at the end.
They did.
Which is cool.
Yep, they did. Yes.
Well, I believe they used that same scene of where you both die in the car in some other trauma films as well. Where the car flips.
No,
is that right?
Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Here's what's funny. When I auditioned for the Toxic Avenger, my very first audition, they paired me with Jennifer, with Wanda. So we auditioned together. But let me backtrack just a moment. When I first walk into the office, when I first meet them, they have desks on 2 sides of the room, one here and one here.
They still do.
So you have to do this. You talk to him, and then you talk to him, and then you talk to him, and then you.
Yes.
So it's kind of like a whiplash thing, and it's a power trip.
Yeah.
That's funny.
They still have. I went for an interview when they were making the DVD. They still like that.
Then during the auditions that I had with Jennifer, the first time they had me audition with her, we did actual lines from the script. And then they called us back. And they had us do some more lines, but then they also gave us some sides for a trailer for a movie that's coming out. Right. And they asked us to read the sides. Yeah. And then they asked us to, not hold the scripts in our hand. And then they shoot us doing the trailer for this other movie as our audition.
Audition. I remember that. Yeah. I think it was
Stuck on You.
What was it?
Stuck on You.
Stuck on You. Yes. I remember that. Yes.
And Squeeze It. So they had us come. They had Jennifer and I come back like 3 or 4 times, and we weren't even doing sides from the movie anymore. We were just doing promos for their other movies. Yeah. But they were auditions.
Yeah. But they obviously knew that you had good chemistry and they wanted you. I auditioned for like 7 or 8 times for that film, and it was between me and another actor. And at the very end, I did not get the part. He did. And then he started to work. Before filming, they were rehearsing a little bit. And then I guess he had something. He decided to do something else. And Troma called me to come in, and they gave me the part. And I had just gotten out of acting school. I was really, really, really into wanting this badly. And I was really down that I didn't. And then I did get it. And the other actor was Vincent D'Onofrio, who is pretty well-respected character actor.
He's a great actor.
Yeah. So I was in really good company with that.
I remember.
Yeah, and then so I joined before filming, but I just joined rehearsals a little bit after Robert, Cindy, and Jennifer. But then it was fine. Everything flowed well.
Wow, Vincent D'Onofrio, oh my God, he is unbelievable.
Yeah,
he's like and he even started at Troma, and he is just totally every movie he's in, even in Law and Order. He was just unbelievable in that too. Yeah. And what's that movie he's in? He blows his head off.
Full Metal Jacket?
Yes. That was an excellent movie. Fantastic friggin' movie, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
But Newcomb was a really good experience as well as Toxic. Yeah.
I wish I would have been in that movie, but I would have, but
you were in the goal.
Yeah, I was, what it was. I didn't even know what was going on when they made Newcomb. I mean, I'm lucky I even got the part for Toxic Avenger. I both resembled the stuntman, I was told, and we looked like twins. I guess that's why I think I got. And then I got another audition after that for a television commercial after we filmed. Toxic, and that was all done. Somebody called me up from New York, and I went, and I didn't get it. But the room was stuck with about 30 kids. Then it was like a little office like Troma they used to be on when they were on 9th Avenue with Hell's Kitchen.
Yep.
And they were like, it was real small, and you had it was a board game, and they wanted you to lie. They're like, say whatever you want. Let's just get it done. I didn't even know these people. And I was like, all right, whatever. And then I did that. And, I didn't get it. I'm glad. But, after that, then I ended up, after time goes by, 2014, when they made the digital, the DVD, but the high quality one. And they were doing the interviews with everybody at Troma. I went and did an audition for Whit Lloyd. And I thought it was going to be on the new DVD, and they didn't do it, and they didn't put me on there for some reason. I don't care. But after that, after they see that, people started getting in touch with me. I was in a couple different movies. Nick Charles, I was in Big Documentary. He made a movie. Then I was in another film. Oh, what was it? Family Property 2, More Blood. That never came out yet. But I mean, it was even then I made my movie, and the thing is that really scares me about making movies now is how people are going to react when it's done. Like I was very scared to get my movie out. We went to release it on YouTube. I was like, I don't know, because I watched the whole thing after it was done. It wasn't edited right. It didn't come out right. The story is there of the way I was dealing with alcoholism, but then after I watched it, my anticipation wasn't on the screen whatsoever. And then I said, all right, you know what? I spent a lot of time and money to get this done, and people were in the movie, wanted to see it get done. So, it's only 36 minutes. But, I did it. And it was a stepping stone to experience. And now, having the people and having people on set, directors helping me, and then going to after parties and meeting big people and getting to know and ask questions and questions, how do I do this? Blah, blah. Then you start to really say, all right, you know what? Like I said earlier, this guy could do it. I could do it. You know what? He can do it. He can make a little low budget movie. All I have to do is watch this guy, and I got it. So that's what I did. And now the 5 of us is going to be brought out, hopefully, once I start with this pandemic's over, I'm going to go to Nutley, New Jersey and start filming. And I'm praying that, I have a script, and, it's very, very hard and stressful. But thank God that I got good people behind me.
So did you all think 37 years ago when you filmed The Toxic Avenger it would be as popular as it is today?
I wouldn't think so. I mean, I didn't think that it would have these kind of legs, and it actually has kind of, in some ways, picked up steam over the years. So it hasn't gotten less popular. I think it's gotten more popular. I get more connections now from people about it than I did, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
So yeah.
They were talking for a while about doing a big studio remake.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard about that.
They had the director of Hot Tub Time Machine attached to it at one point. Travolta was attached to it at one point. All kinds of big names, were
Schwarzenegger.
Schwarzenegger was actually going to be Mick Cohen.
Yep.
So right. I don't think it's completely dead. I think that it still might happen. I heard something a year or so ago. I think if they do, then they need to they should go in the direction of like a movie like Deadpool, where you keep the comedy and the splatter, right. make it a splatter comedy, a psychedelic comedy. Ignore the fourth wall. Go ahead and talk to the audience, all that kind of stuff. I don't think they should try and do a deliberately jokey bad movie. I think they should go more in the direction of a Deadpool, or like the way the last Nuke 'Em High was the Return to Nuke 'Em High.
Right.
Yeah.
Those are actually really good movies. I think those are my favorite trauma films. They're eminently watchable. But if you actually put a truly professional cast and crew doing that,
right.
Then if you did that with the remake of The Toxic Avenger, I think you'd have something. I could totally see like those actors from Stranger Things, doing the roles.
Right.
Did you see Stranger Things, Gary?
Oh, the episode with the cigarette. I didn't.
Cigarette, and the guy's driving a car, and he almost runs on the bikes. Did you see?
But just so Matthew knows about that. So we did that scene in Toxic Avenger where Bozo and Slug are doing sit-ups and passing a cigarette back and forth.
Yep.
Robert had seen that same kind of scene in the show Stranger Things. I wonder where they got it from.
Oh, exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and that same actor also chases down the little kids. He's in a little car and they're on bike, and he almost runs them down.
Wow. I wonder if they're Toxic Avenger fans.
I thought I'd just show you this.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very cool, man. That's what I want to know. I got to get in touch with.
Familiar.
I got to get in touch with Lloyd. Get some memorabilia. I'm selling my photos on, you know.
And I think it's got some of the interviews with you as well. I think, there's quite a few special features on it.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. I think that was released in 2014.
Yeah, that's 5 years ago. Remember, we went to that little studio.
Yep.
Along with the actor
Dan Snow, right?
Chuckle Face, Cigar Face.
Cigar Face. Dan. Yes. Yep. Yeah. We're actually Matthew, we're on that doing commentary on the film. We're on that DVD. Yeah.
Right. Because there's an alternative Japanese version on there as well.
Wow, didn't know that.
Yeah, 92 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, and some commentary from Lloyd as well.
I wonder what the Japanese actor sounds like who's doing.
I don't know. I haven't. I need to have a look at that, and I can't really remember.
That's funny.
I know the second one. He went to Japan, didn't he? Toxic Avenger. In part 2. He went to Japan, didn't he? In the second one.
Yes. And part 3, they were in Japan. Yes. Yep.
Yeah, to find his father. Yeah.
Yep.
Wow, and I heard they were 2 of the best movies. They said 2 of the sequels are 2 and 3. I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen it, but I've heard people have voted that 2 and 3 were made.
Yeah,
and they're awesome. You know, John Aguilera that played Toxie in, I think, 2. He passed away. I used to.
Yeah.
I went to a convention in Ohio. It was either Ohio. Yeah, it was Virginia, and I was with Derek, which was at that point involved in my movie, but he was there and he played Toxie in 2. I don't know if it did 3, but I know he's in 2. But he passed away, I think 2 years ago. And it was funny because I was watching YouTube and his interview came up. He was at a convention somewhere. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, that sucks. I know this guy. I mean, he was right next to me at the other table.
Yeah.
And this poor guy died. I don't know what from, but it was kind of sad because, you know, he was in the movie and it's a lot of people that were in the movies. Nobody can find or nobody has been in touch with Miss Cohen since the movie got done. And
no, I've been trying to find him as well.
He's not on Facebook, and nobody can find him. Nobody can get in touch with him.
Completely disappeared. I've tried everywhere to see if anyone can find him or if anyone knows where he is.
Yeah.
Maybe he just, who knows, don't want to be bothered. Maybe, I mean, I like to do that sometimes, but, people find me anyway. But
there's the second one. I've got part 2.
Oh, wow, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm kind of shocked at how popular these movies are outside of the United States,
Mm-hmm.
And especially in Great Britain. That there's a lot of fans in Great Britain for this.
Yeah, definitely.
In Japan, but also South America, Mexico.
Yeah.
A lot of Mexican fans for Toxic Avenger.
Wow.
Yeah.
I remember when it was about 10 or 11, we used to have a video shop where I lived, and they had the Toxic Avenger films, all 3, on VHS.
Is that how you got turned on to Trauma Films, Matthew?
It was, yeah. From going to my local video shop, and that's where I used to go and have a look and see what films came out.
Wow. Yeah.
And I remember seeing there was 3 Toxic Avenger films, and it was Clash of Nukem High as well.
Huh. Wow.
And I remember buying them, and I thought I need to watch these because obviously being a horror fan at a young age.
Yeah. Were you already a horror fan, or did that make you a horror fan?
Well, I was already a horror fan because obviously I like the George Romero films, George Romero zombie films.
Yeah.
But then I thought I want to find something else and see what I can find, and that's when I found Toxic Avenger. I thought I need to watch that. And 23 years later, I'm still a fan of the films.
Great, yeah.
Obviously, with me Facebook group, the horror theme and everything, it's an absolute pleasure to obviously find you and get in touch with you and have a chat with you.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. It's absolutely great. Yeah. Obviously speaking to Dom first, and then I found yourself, Gary, and then I found Robert as well.
Yeah.
It's
great. I'm glad you.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. It's obviously like seeing you and speaking to you. It's like, oh my God, there's Bozo, there's Slug, there's Skippy.
And we're here. Thank God.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
It is all that time that went by. It is kind of crazy that, you know, we can sit here and chat about this. That happened that we were in a movie 35 years later, or, you know, I mean, it's the coolest thing in the world. I was found by somebody that worked at Trauma. They wanted me to do they had the 30th reunion in Boonton, New Jersey at the Darris Theater. Mm-hmm. And right where they filmed part of the Toxic Avenger, where Melvin jumps out the window. They had the alley scene in back of Main Street, you know, and I was like, okay, I'll do it. And, you know, they did a Q&A. People in the Darris Theater asked me, it's on YouTube. Somebody taped it. It's on YouTube. It's awesome. I mean, I was nervous, of course, because, you know, it's 30-something years later. I'm a totally different person, you know. I mean, I have a life now. Back then, I was a little kid. I didn't know what, I was just going to school, you know, now. But I did it, and, you know, the people there were, like, amazing. As soon as I got there's people running up to me, Skippy. I'm like, I don't even know these people, you know. But it was the coolest thing. I was like, all right, you know, boom, you know. And it kind of makes you feel like really like you're a part of the family. They're a part of the Trauma family. I mean, people know you just by just looking at you 30-something years later. They know exactly who you are. That is the coolest thing. You know, if they had my bank account was. Excuse me. What'd you say? Well, I'm sorry.
What were you saying, Matthew?
Yeah.
Did you get recognized as Bozo then, Gary?
Yeah, years ago, yes. In fact, this is just a quick, really funny story. I was in a video store renting a video, you know, shortly after the film came out on video in the 1980s. The guy in front of me online was returning Toxic Avenger to the guy behind the counter. And he's talking about, and these guys, they're running people over with this guy driving, is running people over with his car and blah, blah, blah. And it was totally out of context for this guy. He had no idea. When I tapped him on the shoulder, I said, that was me driving the car. And he looked at me and he went, oh yeah? It didn't connect with him. He just right over his head, because it made no sense. But I was just telling him I was driving that car. So I laughed about it with the guy at the video store after he left. But
Wow. Yeah. And what about yourself, Robert? Do you get recognized?
No.
Slug?
No.
No.
Yeah. Never. Doesn't happen.
Oh no.
Doesn't happen. But I get ratted out sometimes. And then I get into conversations with folks, you know.
Yeah.
It comes up sometimes that, oh, you were that guy, you know, and then I've seen that movie 20 times, you know.
That happens to me.
You know,
well, actually, it was my friend. I don't know whether you know Martin. Obviously, he lives over there in America. That's how he advised me to speak to you. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I mean, I get friended on Facebook. I get recognized on Facebook, but in the street in public, no.
No, not anymore.
On Facebook, you know, they find me. I probably have 20 or 30 Facebook friends because I'm Slug from the Avenger. Then that's the only reason they friended me, is because they just want to be friends with Slug.
Okay.
They don't care about Rob. They just want to be friends with Slug. That's it.
Keep profiles down, because if I can't tell if this is a real person or not, I'm not going to accept it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
I got feel life, you know.
And was there any other films, any other Trauma film that you wish you could have auditioned for?
No.
I don't.
It was fun doing the cameo for Return to Nukem High Volume 1. That was a lot of fun being. I a line, short little scene.
Yeah.
That reprised the Newcomb High scene, actually, that I from the original film. So that was fun. I got to hang out with what's that porn star's name?
Was it Ron Jeremy?
I got to hang out with Ron Jeremy.
Ron Jeremy.
Turns out he's a really erudite, smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He knows all about history. You know, and we talked for hours about ancient history. So that was cool. And also the that particular scene that I was in, that day, I mean, it was tremendous to watch him do it. It was kind of like out of Mad Max. They had all these like vehicles driving all over the place that had been souped up, and the Cretans were like, it was like Mad Max. It was like being on the set. It was really amazing. It was a lot of fun. So if they're going to do something like that again, I volunteer. I'm happy to do it. But honestly, I'm not looking for any acting work. It's not. I don't do that anymore, really.
So you're happy with just having been in Toxic Avenger and Clash of Newcomb High? Yeah. What about you, Gary? Are you happy with being in just those two films?
Yeah, I'm not. After I kind of stopped pursuing acting jobs, maybe 25 or so years ago. I owned a business for a long time that supplied entertainment for family and children's events. We sold the business a couple of years ago. If somebody called me and said, "Hey, I have a part that you might want to do," I'd say, "Yeah, sure," but I'm not looking to audition per se.
Yeah.
Okay, tell you what, if they do remake Toxic Avenger, Gary and I should get cameos.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
And together, we should do a scene together. It'd be really cool. Yeah. Beating up an old lady.
Me trying to calm you down, stressing over something.
Yeah.
The opposite this time.
The opposite. Yeah.
In the gym, when poor Melvin mopping over what's her name?
Yeah.
With the mop. Oh my God, that was a pisser. That I mean, I must have when it came out on VHS. I went and got the movie, and it was obviously, I think, if I remember, on the VHS it had the head crushing scene, and I must have. My mother was yelling at me. I mean, it was during the summer, so I didn't have school, so my friends would come over, and we just sit there and watch it over and over, and that was the head crushing scene had all the lines in it because it got worn out, and my mother used to say, DJ, you're gonna ruin that tape. And that's exactly what happened. I mean,
that must have been really cool for you. I mean, I would think as a 13, 14 at the time, whatever, 15, whatever it was at that point, with your friends from school watching you in a film doing, I think that'd probably be pretty cool, right?
It was the most amazing thing at that. Yeah, Gary, I mean, when I got the part, my mother not obviously, but she called up the town paper. And she had them. I was in junior high and in Belleville, New Jersey, and they called me to the office. I thought I was what I do now, So I ended up going to the office. I'm like, I'm screwed. And I see my mother sitting there, and I'm like, oh, here we go. And there was a couple, and there was, I think, two other guys standing there. One was the vice principal, and two other guys. I was like, oh my God. I thought they were cops, like detectives. I was like, oh, here we go. 13 years old, right? 14 or whatever. But they were people from the newspaper. And I did a nice long interview with them. They put it in the paper. And that was printed maybe like a week, that week, I forget. But it was and once it came out, people were all over me. Like a cheap suit. They wouldn't leave me alone. And I'm like, I got the video and I'd invite my friends over during the summer. We'd watch it constantly and everything. But the feeling and people still in the street, I'm 48 now, are, people I see in the street when I go back to New Jersey to visit, once in a while you hear, hey, Skip, what's up, Skippy? You know, this and that. Hey, he was in Toxic Avenger. Yeah. Telling people that I don't even know. They're like, holy shit, I seen that. And then we start talking. It's the coolest thing because people love cult classics. And that movie is definitely hit the top of the chart.
Yeah.
You know, and thank God because, you know, I just like Gary said, it was the greatest feeling in the world at that age. And, you know, and even the teachers at high school and after high school, and people constantly asking me to be, you know, in movies or let's do this or let's do that. Like it's after that, you don't want to be bothered anymore. It was like, I don't know how to act. It was just like, you know, I got lucky. That's all. Yeah. I never did it before. I got lucky for having the ability to do what they wanted me to do. That's it. I wasn't, I'm not in SAG. I'm not, you know, no big Hollywood actor. I just got lucky. I got the scene and I did it and that's it. And everybody's making a big deal. Oh, Skippy this, you know, hey.
Well, Robert, Gary and Dom, thank you very much for joining me on the horror theme tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you, Matthew. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Matthew.
Great to talk to you guys. Great to talk
to you.
Yeah,
man. Definitely, bro. We'll definitely have to do it again. Take care,
Thanks
guys.
very much, Dom. Thanks, Robert. Thanks, Gary.
Thank you, guys. Take care.
Take care, Gary. All right, Gary. Take care, man.
Bye-bye, Robert.
All right, Rob. Take care, brother. Be safe.
Thank you.